So hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, that is Gayatri, your Codex Mitra, and also welcome back to our R language series. So in today's video I will teach you about the vectors in R language, what are the types of vectors and which all functions work with a vector. So let's start with our today's video. So in today's video, the big question is what is exactly the vector means. So a vector in our language, it is a fundamental data structure or a data structure that holds the elements of the same data type. So we can access that elements using the indexes, and the vectors from starting to ending, it is starts from 1 and goes on increasing by 1. So it is a homogeneous set of elements, means for example it can holds the all numerical values, all characters or logical values and etc. The vector is categorized into two ways. So first one is the atomic vector, means vector that contains the homogeneous set of elements, and next category is a list, means it contains the heterogeneous set of elements. So let's see how to create a vector and which all function work with the vector. So let's start. Okay, now let's move to the actual definition of the vectors. So here you can see a vector is a basic data structure in R language that holds the elements of the same data type, and it is the one dimensional and can be a numeric, character and a logical, etc. So here you can see the example as well, but we have to give the example directly in R Studio. I will start with the new script. So let's first start with the curly braces, and in that I will give the variable name as x, means the vector name, and using this C function. So to create a vector we use this C function, means it is also stands for combine or concatenate. Let's here I will give the range as 1 2 3 4. Okay, now let's print this vector as using the print function, print x. Now select all and control R. So here you can see our output is 1 2 3 4, and so in R this is the basic function this is used to create the vectors. Now let's move to the next topic, that is the types of vectors in R language. So first one is the numeric vector that contains the decimal point in it. So a numerical vector stores the decimal numbers or the floating point values. This is a default type of type if you assign the numbers with a decimal point. So here you can see here here I have used the C function that contains the decimal point numbers. Now let's create this vector. So I will give it the name as same x, and using the C function here I will give the values as 1.2, 2.3, and let's execute this. Print x. Now let's check the type of this as well. Here I will pass that vector name. So here you can see the output is numeric. So this is vector, the type of vector is numeric. Next type of vector is integer vector. So basically this integer vector means it contains the whole number, or in our language we use the suffix the number with the l that specifies that it is an integer. So here you can see the example of it. So basically it is same like previous one. Numeric vector, it holds the numerical values with a decimal, and the integer vector, it contains the integer values and a suffix with the capital L. So now let's check this. So here you can see the type of vector is integer. Now next is the character vector. So the character vector, it contains the text strings, means it is contains the single character or the word or the entire string. it contains, and let's create this first. Now then I will give the explanation of it. So in previous two vectors I have not used this single quotes or double quotes, but in the character vector we have to give the element with the double quotes or the single quotes. Here I am using the single quotes. I will give any text. Now execute this. So here you can see that it is the vector, the type of vector is character. Now next is the logical vector. Here you can see it contains the boolean values. As the name suggests, it is the logical value, means it is either true or false. So this, let's give this example of it. First I will give the true, false, these statements. Now let's execute. Here you can see the logical vector. Now let's give the 0 and 1 value. Let's check what it will take it as. Okay. So okay, it is taking it as a numeric vector. Let's move to the next vector, that is a complex vector. It contains the complex numbers, means the imaginary parts and the real parts. Means basically a complex vector stores the number with the real and imaginary parts. And here you can see at the example of it, so uses the I to indicate that it is an imaginary part. So let's check. I will give it as a 2 plus 3i, comma 3 plus 2i. So here you can see that our output is complex, means this vector is a type of complex. Now the last is the raw vector. So it contains the raw binary data, means it uses a function character to raw. A raw vector stores the binary data, means usually in the form of character, converts it into the character to raw. Here you can see it uses the function character to raw, and it is used less commonly, often in the low level programming. So for now it is not needed, but let's see the example of it. Here I will use that function, that is char2. Now let's in double quotes give the string. Now let's execute and see. So here you can see it contains it is the raw vector, and it is giving some numbers and the characters as well. So the output is a vector of hexadecimal values, means the ASCII values. So here you can see 48, 45, 4C, 4C, 4F. These represent the ASCII code of hello in capital words respectively. So it is useful when you are dealing with low level data operations, encoding or a binary processing in R language. So now let's move to the what are all the functions we need to work when we work with a vector. So let's check. So first one is the length. So the length function returns the number of elements in the vector. So let's check the example of this. Okay, so x is the vector, and here I will generate the numbers using the colon operator. Here I will get the 4. and let's check the length of this. So I will create another variable, length of x. So now let's print y. Okay, let's print first x, then print y. The output is 1, 2, 3, 4, means this colon operator generates a number from 1 to 4, and the length function is counts the how many numbers or the elements is present in that vector. So let's move to the next function, that is sum function. So sum functions adds all numerical elements in a vector. So here you can see the example directly here only. Let's change this length function to the sum. Let's execute. So here you can see, so 1 plus 2 is 3, 3 plus 3 is 6, and 6 plus 4 is 10. So the sum function is calculate the sum of that elements present in that vector. So let's move to the next function, that is mean. So calculates the average of that elements, means it calculates all the numbers and divided by how many numbers present in that vector. So let's give the same example in that. So 2, 4, 6, and change this function to mean. So here you can see 4 plus 2 is 6, 6 plus 6 is 12, and the numbers is 3, so 12 divided by 3 is 4. So let's execute and check. So here you can see the vector is 2, 4, 6, and the mean is 4. So the next is a max and the min. So finds the maximum and the minimum value in that vector. So in between the range of that elements, it will find the maximum using the max function and minimum value using the min function. So let's check how it works. So here I will give random numbers as 120. So the minimum is 2 and maximum is 100. So let's check min of x, and next I will get a z is equals to max of x. Let's print x, and we have to give one more, that is print z. Let's execute. So here you can see the maximum number in this vector is 100 and the minimum value is 2. Now let's move to the next functions, that is a sort and reverse. So the sort function, it will sort the elements by default in ascending order, and next function is rev function that reverse the elements in that vector. So let's check first the sort function. Okay, I will remove this z and change this function to sort, and let's execute. Okay, here you can see our previous vector is 2, 4, 6, 120. So 120 is changed. Now let's check the rev function, that means the reverse. It will reverse the elements in that vector. Control A and Control R. So here you can see that 20 is last, but now it is at the first position. So all these elements are changed. So let's move to the next function, that is any and all. So any means logical check on vector values. So these are the logical check on the vector values. So first one is any, that means it will give the output is true when at least all the amongst the all the values at least one has to be true. Let's check first any. So here I will change this. First I will give the false. Here I will use the any function. So here you can see, as I have given the vector as a false, so it is giving us the output is false. So as I told, any function checks if it has in this case in that vector one has to be true, then the output is true. So let's give the another element as a true. Now let's check. So here you can see the output is true. So there is one true value, so our output is true. Now let's check the all function. So here you can see there is all function. So all function, this will check if the all the values is true or not. If all the values are true, then the result is true, or else false. Let's first check for this vector. So we have the false values, so output is false only. So here you can see the false. Now let's give the true values. So here I will give the true and true two elements. Now the output has to be true. So here you can see the output is true, means it will check if the all the element in that vector is true, then only the output is true. Let's move to the next function, that is a class and type of. These two functions I have already completed in my last video, but for now I will give the one more time explanation for this. So first one is the class function. So both the functions checks the type of the vector. So first the class function means it gives the high level type of like a numeric characters, and the type of functions this shows the internal storage type like a double and integer. So here you can see the vector is 1 2 3, but for this class it is using the class function, it is giving the output as numeric, and using the type of function it is giving the output as double. So as I told, the class it gives the high level type like a numeric and characters, and type of function it is shows the internal storage type like a double or the integer. So let's check these two. So here I will remove this and with the 1 2 3 same, and change the function name to class, and one more I will create as z is equals to type of x. Let's print this z. So here you can see is giving for the type of function print z. Here you can see it is giving the output as double, and for the print y means the class function, it is giving the output as a numeric. Now let's move to the next function, that is which function return the indices of the true conditions. Means in R the which function is used to find the position or the index of that elements in the vector that satisfies the certain condition. So instead of returning the values themselves, which functions returns the index numbers where the condition is true. So let's check this 4 7 10 as a element of that vector, 4 7 10. Now I will remove this z. Okay, now change this function to which, and here I will give the condition as x is greater than 5. So as I told, which function used on the condition. So let's check the output. output is 2 3. So you will think that 2 and 3 is not in that vector, but it is giving us the output. So which function it is telling us that there are two elements that are that satisfies the condition. So here you can see our vector contains the 4 7 and 10, and the 4 is not greater than 5. Here you can see x is has to be greater than 5. So 7 is greater than 5, 10 is greater than 5. So the vector starts from 1. So 4 it at first position, 7 at second position, and 10 at third position. So the indexes of 7 and 10 that satisfies the condition, the index is 2 and 3. So the which function, so we can take the example that imagine you have the exam scores and you want to know which student scored more than 75 marks. So you don't just want the scores, you want their roll numbers or the positions. So that's exactly what which function helps you. So it will not give that elements, instead of that it will give you the indexes of that elements. So that's the end our video of vectors, vector definition, the types of the vectors, and which all function work with the vector. I hope this video will help you to understand the R language, and if you like this video, then don't forget to share and subscribe to my channel, and thank you for watching. Bye bye.